Welcome back to Spine and Sports Therapy Kingwood. This is your one-stop shop for all things sports medicine, injury prevention. Today we're talking about postures, specifically sleep postures. There are three main postures that if we fix in our daily life, we can dramatically reduce the stress and strain on our necks, our backs, our low backs. So the three main postures that we are always in are sitting, standing, and sleeping. Those three postures, if we fix those three types of postures, we can really reduce the stress and strain and tension that is placed on our spines, our necks, our mid-backs. So today we're going specifically over sleep postures. There are three main types of sleep postures: side, stomach, and back. These three types of postures can be okay, and they can sometimes, depending on how we engage in them, how we sleep, they can negatively affect us. So we're going to go over some really easy fixes for each of those different positions. So we're going to jump right into it. The first position we're going to go over is sleeping on your back. This is the best type of position for your spine, that is. If you can sleep on your back, this is the way to go. We're going to dive into that real quick. So I'm going to lay on my back. So you can see most of the time when we lay on our backs, there's an arch that takes place in the low back. It's a normal arch that is in the low back, but it gets accentuated when we lay on our backs. The way to take that arch out so that our back is nice and flat and there's no tension in the back is simply by taking, I have a bolster here, but you can simply stack up two pillows and place them right underneath your knees, just like this. And you can see when you place the pillows right underneath the knees, it flattens out that low back. So now it's not arched anymore. Bringing the legs, the thighs up helps to flatten out that pelvis and low back. And now all of a sudden your pelvis and your low back are in a good neutral position. Very simple, easy technique to fix the sleeping on your back position. So if you have tension in the low back when you're sleeping on your back, try throwing a pillow or two underneath your knees. It should fix it relatively quickly. Sometimes it takes a little bit of getting used to have something underneath your knees while sleeping, but I promise you, try it out, experiment with it. If you can sleep that way, it'll definitely help take out the tension in your low back. So the next position we're going to go over is a side lying position. Now the side lying position can be okay to sleep in. It's not as good as sleeping on your back, but it can be okay if done correctly. So we'll jump right into that here. So most of the time when we sleep on our sides, we have pillows underneath our head. But a lot of times what happens is the top knee rolls down forward like this. You can see that puts my whole pelvis and hip, low back, even mid-back in this rotation position. So being in that rotation position for a prolonged amount of time, say 6 to 8 hours, can put a lot of stress and tension in your spine. Imagine you're in a twisted position for 6 hours at work. That'd be a lot of tension in your low back and your mid-back. So the way to fix that is taking your pillow, taking a bolster, and sticking it right between your knees. When you place it between your knees, this again helps keep that low back, pelvis, and hips in a nice neutral position. The second thing I'd like to add is the neck height. Make sure that your neck is right in line with your torso, with your mid-back. If you have too many pillows and your head is cocked up like this, that'll put a lot of tension in your neck. If you don't have enough pillows and your head is tilted downwards, same thing. That can cause some overstretching in the muscles. That can cause tension in the joints because they're in that tilted position for so long. So making sure that your neck alignment is such that it's in line with your mid-back. So make sure that you're checking this as well. When you're on your side, you need to make sure that you have something between your knees and that your neck is at a neutral height. It's not too propped up and it's not too sunken down, but it's nice, it's right in the middle, so that your neck is in line with your mid-back. Those are the first two most common sleeping positions. The third is sleeping on our stomach. And sleeping on your stomach is the worst position for your spine. It's not ideal. There are several reasons for it. One, it excessively it puts an arch in our low backs, kind of like we saw with sleeping on our back. But the other thing that's really rough is the neck position. When you sleep on your stomach, we often always turn our necks one way or the other. Usually it's just one way, like always turning your head towards the left so you can breathe. That's the biggest fallacy with sleeping on our stomachs, is that neck rotation that takes place. Again, remember, you're in these positions for a really long time. 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours in these wacky, weird positions. When that happens, that's a lot of stress on your spine. And these are the things that we're trying to fix so that you can stay out of pain and not continue to be in pain. So again, when we're on our stomachs, we tend to turn our head, and our back is also usually arched, in that arched position. So the way to fix the arch position is taking those pillows, that bolster, again, really handy tool for sleeping, and you're going to place it underneath your ankles. So just like this. So that props up your ankles. Again, what this does is that flattens out that low back. So the low back, instead of it being in an arch position, is nice and neutral. Now the other thing is for your neck, this is the trickier issue. There's a couple different ways to get around this, but ideally you need your face to be straight down and not rotated in a certain direction. So if you can get a horseshoe type pillow where there's a hole right in the middle, or a therapy type pillow where again there's a space in the middle so you can go face down, that is the best solution for sleeping on your stomach. Otherwise, you have to turn your head to breathe, and it causes a lot of torquing and twisting and wrenching in the neck, in the joints, the muscles, and those are the things that really cause issues with the neck and even the mid back. So with the stomach, you have to overcome the low back by using a pillow underneath the ankles. That's relatively easy, but the more difficult challenge is getting your head and neck face down, even if it's in between two pillows, so you can breathe, but your head is face down and not turned. Those are the three easy fixes for sleeping posture. Again, if you can make these little tweaks, these little adjustments to your sleep posture, you'll reduce a lot of the stress and strain that's placed into our spines. And the more of those little tweaks, adjustments that you can make to decrease that stress and strain, the less you'll have future incidents or episodes of back pain, spine pain, neck pain, and things like that. And if those are things that you're dealing with on a consistent basis, this might be one of the key factors that you're missing, fixing this stress that you're placing in your body. So thanks so much for tuning on. Please leave a comment if you're interested about troubleshooting any of these things, but I also just like to know how you do with some of these. Try these out. Like I mentioned, sleeping on your back is best. So if you can get into that position and stay there and sleep in that position with the pillow underneath the knees, that's a great position to sleep in for your spine. So thanks so much for tuning on, and check out some of our other videos here on this channel. Subscribe if you're not subscribing already for more videos, more content just like this one about sports medicine, injury prevention, ways to learn how to stay out of pain so that you're not constantly going through this cycle of feeling better and then getting hurt again. So thanks so much for tuning on. Have a great rest of your day, and adios.